The Joe Rogan Experience.
I think if there's a real concern about AI, I think the real concern is AI is going to rationally analyze our behavior and our reliance on emotions and all these human reward systems that we have built in, the way it's affecting our society and the way it's affecting how we govern ourselves and how we behave amongst ourselves. And it's going to think we're unfixable. It's going to look at it like, well, this is they have too much monkey in them. They have so much monkey instincts and monkey DNA, but now they live in this rational modern world of 5G internet on your phone and satellite communication and 24/7 news cycle, but yet they have these primate genes.
Artificial intelligence, a subject about which I know very little. It seems to me that it will, on some level, have to be derived from a particular aspect of human understanding, of rationalism. So we're representing one aspect of our nature and prioritizing it. Logic, organization. But what you refer to as sort of primitive and monkey-ish, for me, it envelops and involves the most beautiful aspects of our nature. I'm a little romantic about human beings still. I still feel that one of the great problems we've had is that philosophically we have overvalued materialism, rationalism, and knowing a little bit about philosophy primarily from that bloody podcast that you and I tagged a minute ago before we was recording. Who's that guy?
Philosophize This.
So what I understand for that is post-Enlightenment, we've started to prioritise rationalism. So if you prioritise rationalism and organisation, which obviously has a lot to offer, the organisation of resources is incredibly and hugely important, you forget that a huge part of the human experience is nothing to do with that. The other thing we were chatting about before we went live was DMT. Now, no artificial intelligence is going to understand that there is access to a realm of consciousness that continually exists, that doesn't seem to be bound by physical laws as we understand them. And if the physical laws that we abide by are parochial and relevant only to this level of existence, why are we allowing ideas resourced from there to govern all of our systems? Even listen to you talk about DMT and you say, I encountered these gestures, I went through this membrane into another realm, and checking out Mike Tyson when he was on here. And, no, yeah! I love that. That moment was amazing. I took acid when I was a teenager, and even in very not unhealthy, but unbridled, mad teenage boy conditions, I want to be there with a guy in a lab coat with a pen going, well, Mr. Brand, sit down, look at these Rorschach tests, instead of which I'm in New Cross in a bed sit, dropping acid and staring at my own hands and recognising, oh my God, I'm not me. The very idea of me is a construct. I'm just tuned into a particular aspect. AI will build systems that are predicated on rationalism, organisation, and on that basis, I can see why they would at some point, go all Skynet and annihilate us. But that is, I believe, the problem with our society is that the materialistic aspect of our nature is not the priority. It's just one thing we should be doing. Of course, we need good roads. Of course, we need hospitals, schools, food, etc. But we need to find a way of honouring the sacred. And I'm fascinated in the experiences you're having in these psychedelic explorations and how it's influencing the rest of your life. Like how you're saying, how does it influence the rest of your decisions, the way you see the world, the way you see relationships, the way you see the vulnerable young man you were prior to building your own, I say, personal religion of martial arts, excellence in your chosen field of stand-up comedy? How do you incorporate that vulnerable kid? Because I'm still very aware of the vulnerable person I was, and I'm going on a rant, man.
That's good.
When Kevin Hart was on here, who I think is amazing, and he was amazing on this, I thought, fucking hell, what have I got to offer the world when Kevin Hart has got this kind of force? You don't come in the bubble, and I was like, my God, this guy is so positive. What a role model. What a lot he's got to offer. And then I thought, well, like any of us, what I've got to offer is who I am. just who I am as a vulnerable, flawed human being that still feels connected to the kid I was when I didn't feel good enough. I still feel that. I can walk in a room and feel that.
Yeah.
But I also know that that's not real, because I've had spiritual experiences, hallucinogenic experiences that make me feel that the relationships we should be building have to honor that we're vulnerable and flawed, but also capable of greatness. There has to be room for all of this. And I feel that part of what we're doing and part of why we're experiencing such superficial polarity in politics and culture is because we're not acknowledging that underneath this surface activity of left, right, and you know from Sam Harris, them little experiments, you stick garbage in front of someone, they become Republican pretty quickly, or you scare people, they become less democratic. I think all that stuff is pretty superficial, and at depth in that realm of the jesters and the membrane of psychedelia, we have access to oneness, and that should be what's influencing the way we set up our tribes, our systems, and our relationships.